Hello, and welcome to the Cancer Journey podcast. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Sherry Ann.
So, as we normally do, we're going to start with our PESH, but for the new year, we have adjusted our PESH scale. So instead of doing 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, we're doing 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest. And we're still going to do our word, and we're going to PESH again at the end. So you'll experience that with us. It's brand new to us, so we're going to do our best to stick with it and really see how we shift throughout our sessions. So, Sharon, do you want to start PESH today?
Okay, so physically 2.2, emotionally 2.4, spirit 3.5, hope 3.6, and my word is tired.
My turn.
Your turn.
So physically, I am a 4. Emotionally, I am a 3.75. Spiritually, a 3.5. Hope is a 4.75. And my word is avoidance.
Well, that's real.
So bring this into the new year. Today, we're going to start by talking about reclaiming our mindset. Wherever we may be, we get to still be absolutely as present as we can, and we get to still have a vision for what we want moving forward. Something we say all the time, a quote that has been very well used by the Cancer Journey Institute, is the steps to getting there are the qualities of being there. So to have the vision now allows us to have a better idea of how to get to the next stage.
Yes. And with my particularly low PESH numbers, I'm acutely aware that my physical is bringing down my mindset, and my emotions are a reflection of my physical. And so that quote is wonderful, and it's not like false positivity. It's not like I want to be happy at the end, so I'm going to be happy, happy, happy inauthentically, but rather I'm forcing the happiness. And so I just want to put that out there, because the most important thing for us at CJI is that you're authentic, and I'm going to be authentic, and I know Alicia will be authentic. And so when we're talking about mindset, it's interesting to notice how the totality of us affects each other. Mm-hmm. So my physical is obviously impacting, as I said, my emotional, and my mindset has not impacted my spiritual body as much, but I just feel that drag.
Yeah, I mean, the same with me. It's not necessarily the physical that's pulling everything for me, but I am in a state where, emotional push and pull can also affect my spiritual push and pull, and just feeling mentally exhausted can really affect those numbers and affect where I am in this present moment. So I think the authenticity comes with being present and being like, okay, this is here now. There's nothing wrong with what's here now. There's nothing wrong with having low numbers. It's not a judgment. And throughout our use of PESH, you don't have to explain your numbers, but for our purposes here too, it does help to explain where we're at, and that it doesn't necessarily affect what's happening in the future or what we expect in the future or what we want our future to be. It's not like, oh, I feel awful right now, it's going to be, I'm going to feel like this forever, it's going to be an awful future, it's going to be an awful year. No, it's like, okay, recognizing where this is now, I need to be here. This is where I am. It's the realest I could possibly be to really just acknowledge what is here right now. And at the end of the tunnel, there's light out there. I can absolutely trust that. I can absolutely trust that and know that I want to get there. I can plant seeds now that there is light, but I don't have to be the light right now.
Right. It's also, the perspective of where is there light right now. So right now, I'm feeling for where I am, the weather is really dreary. And I am a weather person. So in addition to, how my body feels and my inner workings of emotional and my mind and my spirit, the weather plays a part of how I feel in a specific day. So there's just a lot more lifting for me if I want to change my perspective and put on something else. And I do know that there's always hope inside. It's like, how do I stoke that hope? And does that start in my spirit, feeding my spirit, or does that come from me changing my perspective and that helps with mindset? Or does it come from me really tapping into the emotion that I feel right now and then being with that because I know once I'm really with the emotion that's here, it'll shift.
Hmm.
So it's like, I don't know, where do I go? But that's just saying that right now, it feels really good to know I have a lot of options here.
Yeah, yeah. And that there isn't like anything that's the end all be all. There are so many options that you can explore. Like, yes, it might be like gloomy and dreary out, but it's like, okay, then I know that I'm affected by that. I know I need a little extra sprinkle of something. A little sprinkle, something that I know brings me joy here and there, whether it's like, you know what, in all of my note taking today, I'm going to use a fun color just because that makes me happy. Or I'm gonna go to the gym and go for a little jog because, I know the endorphins and I'll feel accomplished or whatever that gives you. There's so many different choices that you can make to help move you toward that. And it's also a choice to just be like, I'm just gonna be a little gloomy right now. That's
And I was just going to go there because there's total permission to do that too and not try to change my perspective or shift myself. It's like, I'm here. Okay, I'm here. And
yeah.
what is there here for me to just be here? And gloomy and rainy is kind of like a pause in a way. Maybe not so much gloomy, but the rain is because it's like, oh, I don't want to go outside. Oh, I don't, there's all of a sudden the pace is slower. You kind of want to just sit and get cozy, stare out the window. It's just a slower cadence, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah, because there can still be little moments of joy in there for you too. Like maybe it's like, okay, let's have like a yummy something hot beverage, or like
Hmm.
let me make something for myself that's special because maybe ordinarily I'd go out when I'm feeling icky, right? I go out into nature, but right now nature is not happy. It's nature's crying out there, and I
Right.
I would have to literally put armor on to go outside right now, and I just don't want to. Like, I just want to sit and eat like a hot bowl of soup and watch a movie that's going to make me cry. That is so absolutely valid, and honestly, I may do that later. But it's it's still recognizing what's here without letting what's here dictate what's there. Like,
Right.
what, just because I'm gloomy now doesn't mean like it's all doom and gloom moving forward. It just means that this is just where I need to be. And by acknowledging it and recognizing it now and getting clear with what's here now, not only do I already feel a lot more like grounded and like and a lot less judgmental of what I'm feeling right now, right? A lot less like, oh, I feel unproductive. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can be here and be like, okay, and right now, I need to not do any of that. And after this, I'm going to start to make choices that will help me move forward into that light when I'm ready.
Right. Well, what you just said to me is permission. The permission to be present where we are, how we are, and trusting that this is a moment in time. This might be 2 beats of a moment, but this is what's here. I can go in one direction, which is like, wow, what's here for me? Do the investigation and processing. Or like you said, I can just be here. And
Yeah.
really right, I could feel it. It's for me, it's not, I don't want to do the heavy lifting of trying to, what's the lesson here? What's what's the learning? I rather just be,
Yeah. Yeah.
knowing that, hey, it's a new year, but it doesn't always have to be rainbows and sunshine.
hmm Nor is it like, okay, the clock ticked, the ball drops, and bling. Like, that's not how it really works. I mean, I don't love the idea of a resolution, but I like the idea of a change of intentions for New Year's.
Mm.
And which I know is just like a brief switch in language, but intention wise, it kind of just gives me this umbrella, and then I don't feel beholden to this checklist of things. Don't get me wrong, I love a list, but um, and maybe that's a little bit more form and function in terms of resolutions I see as form, but function is the intention. And so moving into the new year, instead of saying, and I'm no longer going to do X, Y, and Z, or I'm going to every day do X, Y, and Z, it's more like I want to make choices that are better for my physical health, or I want to make
Mhm.
choices that at least once a week I read or something for like my cognitive health or something, or just the aliveness, whatever I want it to give me. And for me, that is really helpful in terms of changing my mindset and what my mindset is for the new year. So now that we've kind of talked about, you get to be doom and gloom if you want to be doom and gloom right now, and giving yourself that permission. I also want to take a little bit of time to just think about what do we want.
Mm. Well, I liked where you were taking that because the function of what I want is so much easier right now, especially in this state. And if I bring that to somebody on a cancer journey, is you're not always going to feel great, and your body aches and pains will take you down, and it's going to impact everything else. And so knowing that I still have my spirit fairly high, I can keep feeding that, because that will be the easiest to feed. And when I think about 2025, it is so that the message for me right now is the being. It's like, how do I want to be rather than do? I can do. I know I can. But how do I want it to be and unfold? And you were talking about impact. And the impact that I want to have is this really spacious, luscious container, being in it myself and creating it for everybody else so that they can show up feeling safe to be the best that they can be. I mean, that truly at the top is my intention for 2025. And I think by doing that, I get fulfilled, everyone else gets fulfilled, and that feeds my goal of just what we do at CJI, is
hmm
that people really find a place to almost like rest and lean into. I'm leaning into the back of my chair, for example, to just be like, I don't have to hold myself up. I get to lean into something. And I would love that leaning into being CJI.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I, for me personally, I think that we had talked about different words for the year. And the one that still resonates with me right now is for 2025, I want the idea of radiating or radiance. And for me, what that really means is that there is, like, I feel so grounded that I can energetically feel that expansion of, like what I bring and what I do, and feel yet so trusting and confident in who I am and what matters to me and what I want and what I have to offer, that I can confidently be wherever I need to be and still feel fulfilled and feel as though everything that I'm everything that I am is also attracting everything that is meant to attract to me. And I think that there's like stability and trust that is innate in that perspective.
Mm-hmm. Trust.
Yeah.
That's a big word.
And it's so hard. It's so hard to trust. It's actually, I feel like it's harder to trust yourself than it is other people. Because so often we want other people to tell us, what they see or what they experience, and to trust ourselves when things come so naturally to us that we kind of don't even see what we have here and what we offer. And so for me personally, the feedback is, how do I feel? Right? So like when I am not feeling appreciated, I feel that. And it immediately gives me the message of like, maybe that's not the right place for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Instead of waiting for
That's
someone else to tell me that.
yeah, no, that's the lusciousness of being in touch with emotions, right?
Yeah.
Of knowing it's like, messenger, okay, what's it trying to tell me?
Yeah. Yeah.
And coming back to the word that you were talking about, I mean, I'm still holding on to brilliant because it does, have that texture and kind of the essence of what I want. But I think I'm going to add loving in front of that. So loving brilliance, because to me, it has that feel of a hug.
That's Sherry Ann, for anyone who doesn't
Yes,
know.
that is.
Fierce
So I'm going to
love.
carry that
She,
into 2025.
yeah. And which completely resonates with your purpose of fierce love. It completely,
Hmm.
completely makes sense. And if you've ever experienced Sherry Ann, she feels like a warm hug. And like her favorite, like, it's not even a stuffed animal, it's like a pillow that you've ever loved from IKEA, and it's the red heart that has the arms, but it's more than the heart with the arms, it's the heart with the arms and intertwining the fingers so it turns into a hug. That
Yes.
is Darian in a nutshell.
And I own a whole bunch of them over there. Ah.
But it is really indicative of not just who you are and what you want to bring, but it's like because you desire to bring that continuously, you find new ways to do it as you move forward into a new year, into a new phase, into a new whatever the next step is for yourself that doesn't fall away or fall behind. And I think taking this maybe just a little off course a little bit, but I think when people are diagnosed with cancer and, of course they had a purpose before, or even if they didn't know what it was, they had that purpose and they still carry it with them. And so when we invite everyone to rediscover what their purpose is after a cancer journey or after an acute stage of the cancer journey, we're inviting them to still bring that along, but reimagine what it is now and understand what you want to bring into the next phase, because we're not asking anyone to give all of that up. When you're in the pit, that is not the thing you give up. It's not your purpose. it's it's something that doesn't resonate with you, and maybe that's a piece of what the purpose was before, is that you put that down and you expand the view of what it can be now in the future with what you have here, and what you've learned throughout your journey. I think everyone's full story truly matters, but only where we are now is where we have power. So to put all the emphasis on the past doesn't make sense to really like grasp your power and make that active change to move forward. And an active change to move forward, even as we said earlier, right now, I'm gonna be gloomy.
Well, and okay, so I love that you touched on the purpose essence, that that doesn't change, like you said. I mean, when you were talking about the pit, I had this image of a shedding. It's
Hmm.
like I'm shedding what's not true right now, and then you're actually stepping into more of the truth, because
Hmm.
we do change, especially over a cancer journey, and that purpose essence is not heavy lifting. It's just being. It is the true expression of who you are. So in a gloomy day, doesn't matter. You're still going to show up. I'm still going to show up as fierce love.
Yeah.
On a sunshine day, I'm still going to show up like that. So that's what I So now let me take that forward. How does that impact the mindset of now and the future? Is I know my forever companion is my essence, my purpose essence. And so, not that it shifts me out of a gloom, but it is the companion that says, okay, we're tired. We're just going to lay on the sofa and watch a movie or read a good book. You're not going to be overly ambitious, and you can still have the mindset of the future and right now. And right now is everything is okay. There's nothing wrong. I'm
Mhm.
just having this kind of a day.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I already feel myself shifting because it's like, I took on the gloom as if it were, heaviness on my shoulders and a dark cloud over my head. But that's not there now. Now it's just like, I get to just take a rest.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would agree. I would say that the heaviness that had me here initially has shifted to be more of a understanding that like the gloom before and the heaviness before was like I can't slow down now. I have to get things done. This is a really busy week. I have so much to do this week. Like it can't stop now. But it can. It can wait. I still have
Right?
the rest of the week. Like it's not that big. It's not that big. Yeah.
Right.
And
And
in sorry, go ahead.
no, well, I was going to say, in that place, my mindset went to, if I was sick, as we feel when we're on a cancer journey, then I get to take that pause, that rest, and then come back and do whatever. Like, what's most important? That's a great question to ask ourselves in the moment, to say, then if I take care of myself right now, then I can do whatever needs to be done when I have the energy to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So in the spirit of the reclaiming our mindset too, that it's not just projecting what we want of the future, but we get to reclaim not just the mindset, but also our purpose in the new year, and you get to shift that and take a moment to be like, I have my purpose. Maybe you don't have your purpose. Maybe you think about your purpose. But if you have your purpose, it's like, how do I reinvigorate this into the new year? And how do I want to see through that lens and maybe even shift that lens so that I can give myself more space, more permission, and just generally more love, shedding that purpose back to ourselves. A big lesson that we do during certification is circling that essence back to yourself because we're happy to give gifts to everyone else except ourselves. And so when you said
Yes.
giving yourself a moment to rest and sharing that love with yourself, I literally was remembering all of the like giving that purpose back to yourself, giving that spaciousness and that love and that hug, that loving hug, the warmth to yourself, um, and letting yourself have that.
Right. Right. So, what about I'm just curious because what I'm flashing on is we get to start the year with a group that's going to get to learn their, what do we call it? The whole thing, the the
Uh,
foundation of them.
Formula,
Yes.
yeah,
What did we call it again?
essence formula.
Essence formula. And that includes the purpose essence,
hmm Amongst
which,
so much more.
right, right. But I know that it's my favorite part of the formula, but I know what your favorite part is. I'll let it be a secret unless you want to tell.
I mean, I think that, and by the way, we've had a lot of different names for Essence Formula because we've wanted to really get clear on what it is and what it means to us. But we call it the Essence Formula because there are components that when they all come together, they create you. And so the idea of formula really stuck there. Um, but I feel as though there's so many tools that we have that not only prepare you for the new year, but also propel you forward with still acknowledging where you're at now. And we're nerds for our own work, so we're just
I know, I feel like I'm nerding out on all of this.
it's because, like, from what, 20 minutes ago until now, like, we see our own shifts in it just because we get to have this back and forth together with each other. And it's not something we could have done on our own separately, circling in our head or even journaling. It's something that when you speak to someone who gets it and really gets
Hmm.
you and the experience and has so much like patience and compassion for the experience that you're having, um it's transformative and very quickly so. And I don't come in expecting that always to feel such a big shift. And sometimes it's a little shift and sometimes it's way after and I'm just noodling on it for hours and I'm like, oh, I feel better because now I have that reminder that lets me just go, okay, I'm fine. It's not as big as I was feeling or as overwhelming or swirly as it was feeling before. And now I can just take a deep breath and do whatever I need to do for myself.
I
So,
love that you can do it on your own though, because as an external processor, I'll say this and then we can, maybe this is my takeaway. As an external processor, I need to talk it out. Like there are words that are swirling in my head, and sometimes I can write it down and capture it or type it in onto my computer. But really, the most powerful for me is to speak it. And as I'm speaking it, I'm actually seeing the words and I'm actually getting clarity and it's actually making sense to me. That's where the coaching is magical because it's like, I get it now. Okay. Thank you. I needed the sounding board. I needed the mirror because I can't see it for myself. And getting the reflection back, it's like, oh, that's it. That's good.
yeah. So, your pesh and your word.
Okay. So I can already feel my resonance changing. It's like 3 point, okay, physical 3.4, emotional 3.5. Oh, spirit 4.2, hope 4.4. Wow. I could really feel that. I knew it though, because again, I'm an external processor. Um, and my word is light. I feel lighter. All right, your
Yeah.
turn.
Well, to respond to what you said before, I honestly can't do it alone. I need it's not even that I need to externally process all the time, but I think that it's not that I need to say it out loud to understand what's going on. Like that's not where the processing is happening. I think I need to say it out loud to let go of energy and to let go of
Mm,
like energy that's stuck because if I keep it in my head, there's a swirl and I go into circles and then I think of the worst case scenario or the best case scenario or I'm like, "Oh, I don't know what it is and I can't figure it out." But it's that energy that causes that swirl that I need to get out by talking about it. And by feeling heard by someone, right? Like I'm not just talking to the ether. Like I need
right.
someone who hears me. And I mean, I feel very strongly that, at least for me personally, when I start talking, I don't know what gets out there. I don't know what words are falling out of my mouth. So the reflection is a big part of it for me. To hear back what I'm saying or to hear how someone responds to what I've said. And sometimes that will, help me understand if I'm being like too critical, what are the words I'm using for myself, and even clarity, right? If someone's like, "Oh, is it this?" I'm like, "No, it's not that." And saying no is not a negating or, negative kind of energy. It's just a clarifying kind of thing. So yeah, I think that the processing is different for me and it's just a release of energy that I need with the coaching, or with just talking through what's going on. Because I wouldn't call this exactly coaching, but it is talking through a lot of
Right.
the concepts. Um, and so I'm going to do my PESH. So physically, and I don't remember any of my numbers from the beginning. I'll tell you that now. I don't remember a single one. Because once I say something, it's gone. But physically, I am a 4.25. Emotionally, I'm a 4. Yeah, I'm a 4. Spiritually, I am a 4.25, and hope is a 4.75, and my word is trust. So whenever I look at this back, I'll figure out where that shift was. But I have no idea. I do feel lighter though, like you said, and I do feel better. Well, thank you for tuning in with us again today. We drop new episodes every Friday, so we'll see you next week.
Yes. And remember, you are more powerful than you think. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.